Are New York prisoners digging massive trenches for virus dead bodies? Are there more coronavirus deaths to come? Today's latest updates: temporary mass graves dug for virus dead by New York prisoners. New York, now the global epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic, has struggled to cope with the staggering impact of the disease, with patients packed into hospitals and the city's morgues and funeral homes under immense strain. Before moving on, do subscribe to the channel News 786, like and share the video. Workers in protective gear were pictured digging death trenches on Thursday on the strip of land in Long Island Sound, Potter's Field, where over a million souls lie. A boat carrying a truck loaded with bodies was also spotted journeying to the island of dead earlier today as death rates skyrocket during the 2020 pandemic. The sobering images comes as Governor Andrew Cuomo made a plea for more funeral directors to help cope with the city's fallen. We are bringing in additional funeral directors to deal with the number of people who have passed, Cuomo told reporters. I couldn't even contemplate where we are now. 9/11 was supposed to be the darkest day in New York for a generation. Currently, coronavirus victims can stay in the morgue for no more than 6 days and a refrigerated truck for no more than 14 days. New York's pandemic influenza surge plan in 2008 states that the historic Hart Island may be used if NYC does not have access to additional cold storage units amid rising death rates. City officials said Monday they have explored the possibility of temporary burials on the 101-acre strip of land that has become the final resting place of over 1 million people. Employees use machines to dig burial areas and are usually inmates are tasked with raking dirt over the burial boxes. About 25 caskets are buried, 3 each week on Thursday, but that number has nearly tripled to 72 since March as the virus rages on. Bodies at the massive plot are laid to rest, 3 deep in wooden unmarked casket. But the Federal Bureau of Prisons announced last week all inmates will be essentially on 14-day lockdown in their cells or quarters to mitigate the spread of the virus behind bars. Hart Island wasn't the only prospective burial ground. Manhattan Councilman Mark Levine tweeted that trenches will be dug for 10 caskets in line in New York Park as the final resting place for coronavirus patients Monday. But De Blair's office dismissed this as totally false, telling New York One there will never ever be anything like quote-unquote mass graves or mass interment in New York City ever. If God forbid we ever had to get to the point of a temporary burial, it would be individual by individual so that families could reclaim their loved ones when the crisis was over, the mayor said. However, families have complained about the accessibility of the secluded Hart Island in the past, with infrequent ferries and bookings to visit loved one graves having to be made months in advance, the New York Post reported. Due to erosion issues, dozens of skeletons were also left exposed to the elements 2 years later when officials had to collect 174 bones which had tumbled onto the nearby shoreline. The desolate site has also hosted facilities like a drug rehabilitation center, a Cold War night missile base, a yellow fever quarantine zone, a prison, a women's insane asylum, and the TB hospital, according to Untapped Cities. Over the weekend, de Blasio assured reporters the city could handle the increasing death toll but declined to go into the details about COVID burials.